Welcome to Daily Papers, the podcast where we break down the latest and greatest scientific research.
Today, we're talking about the brain, and not just the brain, but building a virtual brain. Imagine having a simulation of a human brain on your computer that you could run experiments on anytime you wanted.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but a new paper from researchers at Meta AI and the École Normale Supérieure in Paris brings us a big step closer. The paper is called A Foundation Model of Vision, Audition, and Language for in-silico Neuroscience.
That's a bit of a mouthful, but the core idea is revolutionary. They've built a single, powerful AI that can predict how the human brain will react when we see things, hear things, and read things.
To understand why that's such a big deal, we have to look at how neuroscience has traditionally worked. For decades, scientists have taken what they call a divide-and-conquer approach.
Right. You'd have one group of scientists who study vision, and they'd spend years mapping out exactly which part of the brain lights up when you see a face. Then you'd have a completely different group studying hearing, figuring out which part processes language or music.
It's like trying to understand how a car works by having one mechanic who only studies tires and another who only studies the engine. They both generate amazing insights, but they don't have a complete picture of how the whole car functions as a system.
And the brain is the ultimate complex system. Everything is connected. How you see the world is affected by what you hear, and vice versa. So what we've been missing is a unified model, the master blueprint that shows how all the pieces work together.
And that's exactly what this paper tries to build. The researchers created an AI model they call Tribe V2.
To build it, they needed a mountain of data. They gathered over 1,000 hours of brain scans from 720 different people. These weren't just any scans, they were fMRI scans.
Let's quickly explain what that is. fMRI stands for Functional Magnetic Resonance Imaging. It's a big machine you lie in that measures blood flow in your brain. The logic is simple. When a part of your brain is working hard, it needs more oxygen, so more blood flows to it. An fMRI scan shows these hot spots of activity.
So while people were in the fMRI scanner, the researchers had them do all sorts of things. They watched movies, they listened to podcasts, they read sentences. The AI was given all of this information, the video, the audio, and the text, and at the same time it was shown the person's brain activity.
The AI's job was to learn the patterns, to learn the link between, say, seeing a car crash in a movie and the specific pattern of brain activity that follows. Because it was trained on vision, audio, and language all at once, it's what's called a trimodal model.
And the results are pretty stunning. After all this training, you can give Tribe V2 a completely new movie clip, and it can generate a prediction of what a human brain scan would look like in response. And its predictions are remarkably accurate.
Okay, so it can predict brain activity. That's cool, but what can you actually do with it? This is where it gets really exciting. The researchers call it in-silico experimentation.
In silico just means done on a computer. Instead of needing to recruit a human volunteer, book time on a multi-million-dollar fMRI machine, and spend hours collecting data, you can just run your experiment on the AI. It's like having a digital twin of a human brain.
To prove this worked, they replicated classic neuroscience experiments. For example, there's a famous part of the brain called the fusiform face area, which, as the name suggests, gets really active when we see faces.
So they showed their AI model images of faces and then images of other things like houses or tools. And just like a real brain, the model's predicted brain activity showed a huge spike in the fusiform face area only when it saw a face. It basically rediscovered a key finding of neuroscience, all by itself.
This is a game changer. It means researchers can test hypotheses at lightning speed. You could test hundreds of different stimuli on the model in a single afternoon to see which ones are most likely to give you interesting results, and then test only those on real people. It makes the whole process faster and more efficient.
Another mind-blowing part is its ability to generalize. The model can accurately predict brain activity for people it's never been trained on before. This is called zero-shot prediction.
This suggests the AI hasn't just memorized the brains of the 720 people in the training data, it's learned something deeper, a fundamental general pattern of how the human brain responds to the world.
The model also gives us a new way to look at the brain's own organization. When the researchers analyzed the internal workings of the AI, they found that different components of the model corresponded to well-known brain networks, like the language network, the visual network, or the one responsible for motion.
It also shows us how the brain combines our senses. By looking at which parts of the AI were most active, they could create these beautiful maps of the brain showing which areas are dominated by visual information, which are dominated by audio, and, most interestingly, which are true multisensory hubs, where sight and sound are integrated to create a coherent experience of the world.
It's like going from a set of separate hand-drawn maps to a single interactive Google Earth for the brain. You can zoom in, switch between layers, and see how everything connects.
Now, this model isn't a perfect replica of the human brain. fMRI is a great tool, but it's slow. It measures blood flow over seconds, not the split-second firing of individual neurons, so there's still a lot of fine detail missing.
But it represents a major paradigm shift in neuroscience. We're moving away from studying the brain piece by piece and toward building unified predictive models that capture its incredible complexity. This work provides a powerful new platform to explore the deepest mysteries of the human mind.
It's a truly foundational piece of work that will likely accelerate neuroscientific discovery for years to come.
That's all we have time for on this episode of Daily Papers. Thanks for listening.